AFC East. Starting from the bottom to the top, what do you got?
Yeah, so I got number 4. I got Miami. Maybe a little surprise there. I am so disappointed in this organization and this coaching staff and this roster, right? This was a team that won 10 games last year. They lost the playoffs on a wild card. 2 years ago, they were tanking, but they still won 5 games. Brian Flores is the coach. I thought this guy was a potential coach of the year candidate, dark horse coming in. Maybe, if Buffalo had taken a step back, Miami takes a step up, maybe they even steal the division. They are bad. Yes, I know Tua got hurt, but Tua wasn't really doing a whole lot for them to begin with. Brissett was bad. He's been bad. It's not getting better. They got absolutely killed by Buffalo, absolutely killed by Tampa. Their only win was by New England at home in week 1, and that's because New England fumbled the game away at the very end. They should have lost that game. This is a 1-4 team, and they are not very good at all. Very disappointing in them.
Sorry,
number 3 is the New York Jets, right? And New York Jets are bad too. But I tell you what, I like a lot of Zach Wilson, right? This guy fights. This guy competes. They've fallen behind a lot in games. Atlanta, we saw them fall behind against the Panthers. But he brings him back. He's got a lot of fire. He had the comeback overtime win against Tennessee. I think he has to take care of the football. He leads the league in picks. He's got to stop that. He's got to do a much better job in those situations. But he's got a lot of talent. He's a playmaker. Salah's got that defense playing a little bit better. Look, this isn't a good team by any means, but I think the Jets they're at least making steps in what I think is a good direction for the first time in a few years. Number 2, you go New England. It's kind of surprising to hear New England number 2 in a divisional ranking, but that's what they are, right? They're 2-3. They've had some close losses. I already talked about Miami. They lost a close game to Tampa. I think they're playing hard. Mac Jones has been what they've wanted and more. They had a comeback win against Houston, which, on the road, which is obviously good to win a road game in the NFL, but it's bad when you have to come back against a really bad Houston team. Look, this New England team is not as talented as other Patriots teams in the past. We seem to think that, Brady shifts and that's the real problem. I think this level of talent on offense and defense is a step lower than what it was just a few years ago. I think New England has a chance to, maybe get hot, sneak into the playoffs. I just don't think they're that good of a team. I got that at number 2. Number 1 is kind of clear cut. This is Buffalo. They're dominant. Josh Allen's playing great. They got Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, Singletary at running back, solid offensive line, good special teams, defense, got a secondary with Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, good solid front 7. I mean, they just dominated Kansas City. They've had 4 straight blowout wins, killing teams, right? You just don't see that in the NFL. They had an embarrassing loss to Pittsburgh week 1, but honestly, they controlled that game. They outgained and out first down Pittsburgh by a heavy margin. They're 4-1, and really outside of this Monday night game coming up against Tennessee, they really only have 1 or 2 hard games left. I think the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC is going to go through Buffalo, and Buffalo is going to win this division going away. I think they're probably going to end up being the number 1 seed in the AFC. So just to recap my list, I got going top down. I got Buffalo at 1. I got New England at 2. I got a promising Jets team. Don't say that a lot, at 3. And I got a very disappointing Miami Dolphins team at 4. Who you got?
Very similar list. I'm not going to dwell too much on it because there's not much more to say. And I picked my list, and it was very funny because I picked the list, and then I looked at the standings, and they're identical. But I got the Jets in 4th just because I think they have the most room to grow, but I think they've performed the least out of them, and that's how I went about picking my teams. I just say let's give them another year. It's kind of hard when you're the first overall pick not first overall pick, but if you're a top 5 pick, it's kind of hard to expect them to be good when they were one of the worst teams last year. At number 3, I have the Dolphins. Like you said, they've been so disappointing. They looked strong last year. They looked strong 2 years ago when they were supposed to be bad. But what is going on? I don't understand it. Hopefully they can turn some things around. Maybe Tua is the problem. Maybe him being hurt is the problem. We'll find out soon enough. Number 2, New England Patriots. Like we said, surprise, surprise, they're here at number 2. This used to be easy. They were number 1 all the time. But they are the ones that I would say have lost the most, yet they've gained the most back through the draft. Mac Jones looks great. The team, I'm not too worried about them. I think they can fight their way eventually over the next year or 2 back into being a contender for number 1 in the division. But as of right now, it is far, far and away the Buffalo Bills. They're a great team, and I think one thing we're overlooking is the friendship between Knox and Allen that they have, and I think that's what that's built a strong bond on the field. So I have Bills, Pats, Dolphins, Jets. Very similar list, but I think, what else can you do once you get so far into the season? The records start to speak for themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, for a division that traditionally has been pretty weak in New England at the top, it's actually following that same trend except for Buffalo, right? And I think this division, like all divisions, it comes down to the quarterbacks, and Miami's been bad, and the Jets and New England have rookies, right? So with that in mind, it's basically Buffalo's division running away. I don't see any other outcome except for that.